Hello, and today we'll be playing Heroes Advent, and this update will be for Kody. As dinner wound down, everyone moved onto their respective night tasks. Max set up Max set off to take the first night watch as Ray returned to his tent to rest early for when his turn came. Alex returned to his tent set up adjacent to his equipment to keep an eye on the readings overnight. That left you with Kody to wash the dishes and put away the leftovers the bear had put aside his armor for the time being. The food was great as always, Kody. Thanks, Dave, but it was a team effort. Wouldn't have been a wouldn't have been as delicious without Boris meat. And the size too. Yep. I'm glad you liked it. Even had seconds too. Ooh, yeah. Maybe that was a bad idea. I'm stuffed now. Eat until you burst. That's what my father would say. Maybe someday, just not today. Sit yourself. So what are you going to do nowadays? I think I'll stay out here and keep you company for a while. Are you sure? It gets awfully cold out in the forest at night. I'm sure. We've got the fire here, and I don't. We've got the fire here, and I have you here if I need any extra warmth. Well, if you say so, so you change your mind, just head back to your tent. Don't worry about me. I know. You moved over from your spot to a log with Kody. He didn't move out of the way, save for when he had to put things into the supply tent or the cart. The two of you didn't say much, giving you time to look around the campsite more closely. You had gotten to see the glade before you had occupied it with the tents and machinery. It did make you a bit concerned if you were causing problems for the Akai being here. Say, Kody, is it really okay for us to be here at the Akai, I mean? Do you mean with the camp and everything here? Yeah, well, yes, it should be fine for us to be here. It's the first time the guild has come to investigate the tree. That's why it's regulated with a permit system. The Akai doesn't seem to mind the occasional intrusion. It looked towards the tree, following its crystal-studded bark to its distant canopy that reached high into the sky. In the silence of the forest upon you, the inconspicuous thrumming for the tree could be heard more clearly. Like an air conditioner running in the background, doing its job diligently, keeping the nether at bay. Seeing the familiar simmering shield beyond its evergreen boughs is quite reminded you of the fractured shield that held above the city. And just a little further from that, you could see the stars in the inward clouds. For as surreal the circumstances were, it was comforting to be out in nature. Dave, you seem really pensive. What's on your mind? What you told me earlier. Oh, do you? Regret hearing about it now? No, not particularly. Just give me a lot to think about. Really? What about? Well, just this whole hero thing. You paused, not really sure how to go on. With the roles reversed, eventually you let your words trail off. Cody's weight sank the log slightly as he sat beside you, finally finished with the evening's preparations. Don't think about it too much, okay? I mean, I, how could I not? The stakes have been so low thanks to guarding Crystal and that kind of keeping the worst of what's out there at bay. Linus, that nether slug, was less of a threat than I realized, and that was just a crack in the barrier. If all that is out there, can I really make a difference? Can I really be the hero? Do I want to be the guy everything hinges on? Listen, Dave, I can't answer any of that for you. I don't think any of us can. What I can say is this: you can count on us to help you find out. Here will maybe something more. We'll help you figure out your purpose here, Dave. He pulled you in for a hug. You caught the faint smell of ass on his shirt mixed in with his scent as he pressed you closer to him. Thanks, Kody. Nah, I'm simply the one thanking you. It could go both ways. Kody only exhaled quietly, choosing not to retort as you remained in his embrace. His warm body, the pop of crackling of the fire a short distance away, lulled you to sleep. You listened to Kody's gentle breathing as your eyes fluttered and closed, only to be interrupted when he finally spoke up. Not off, Dave. Don't you think you should go lay down in your tent? You buried your face back into the crook of his neck, leaning into his arm, draped over you even more. Nah, you're good enough, man. Alright, you can stay a little bit longer. Nuzzling his snout beneath your bangs, Kody pressed his lips to your forehead. You would be having the biggest smile on your face if you weren't already dozing off so quickly. Your eyes snapped open, quickly realizing it had all been a dream. A dream much more different than the ones that had plagued you before. What did the voice mean when it said Persian? You shook your head wearily, set aside the ominous warning as your mind slowly returned to reality. You looked around, a bit disoriented, to see the inside of one of the tents. Kody must have brought and tucked you into the bedroll when you fell asleep at the campfire. You looked out through one of the tent's open flaps to see the glade fully illuminated by the morning sun. Staying up late meant you overslept, but it didn't seem like anything else had happened since then aside from skipping your usual breakfast. Judging from the sounds, the bear also had gotten a head start on the day, the scent of grilled meat wafting into the tent. You sighed with a sense of comfort, perhaps from the closeness of it all, along with getting Kody to open up about those matters. It took you a little while longer to get the sleep out of your eyes before you got out of bed. With one long stretch and a yawn, you were ready to tackle the day, stepping out to meet up with the others. You headed towards the fire pit. From a distance, you could see Kody and Max already chatting by the fire. Kody was the first to notice you, waving you over politely. He catch his master's attention, making him turn to greet you. Morning, Dave. So, well, huh? Yeah, I did. No, actually, remember when I fell asleep. You must have been rather tired. Some time away from the city does the body good. I agree, if I'd rather be back in the honeysuckle. It is nice to have a change of pace. Agreed. You certainly seem much happier, Kody. Finally getting back into your mercenary training? What? Not really. It's just nice. I don't see the appeal. The lab at least lets me set the temperature. And the only bugs I need to see are dead and ready to be dissected. The only upside has been getting to look at the Kody directly, then through its loose crystals. It seems you're in good spirits too, Alex. Did you find anything interesting? I have actually. It's still inconclusive, but there's something I'd like to discuss with everyone once we've had breakfast. Well, it's just about ready. We just need Rye to get back and we can begin. Do you want coffee in the meantime? Oh, please, I can feel the caffeine wearing off as we speak. Alright, coming right up. Thank you. You really love your coffee, huh? Well, I need it to function. You wouldn't get it, Dave. Uh-huh. I say it's less about the caffeine, more the sugar. Eh, Al? Oh, hey, Ray. Morning. Welcome back. And while he does have a point, you do put a lot of sugar in for some reason. Hey, don't give me crap over my sweet coffee. You guys have any idea how much I need it? Nah, that's besides the point. Why don't you change the coffee dependency into something else? Like, maybe? Ugh, shut up. The two of them continue exchanging bars, reprimanded the reprimand from Alex in a flirtatious, rebukeful way. It was well into breakfast. Everyone's already had their plates of meal. Alex had his sugar coffee, but it still didn't seem like they would stop any time soon. Guys, just let them be, Dave. Can I have another, Kody? Sure thing. Do you want some steak too, Dave? Sure. Eventually, after finishing your round of breakfast, the bickerings did stop. If everything settled down, Alex brought up the readings for everyone to see. So from our analysis, the Kody Mountains are a constant maze frequency that projects the Aether shield around the forest. These are consistent with the frequencies used in the original blueprints. He brought up a copy of schematics that you could loosely identify as a guardian crystal, as all the notes attached to it makes no sense to you, however. Stabilized frequency that repels anything that cannot harmonize with it by causing a significant amount of dissonance. That's why it can repel nether beasts that are lousy with corruption. But not the netherite dust that are independently too small to get caught in the net. That's one way of putting it. It could be that nether has some particular behaviors that don't repel them in microscopic amounts, but we can't theorize that now. However, there was something I noticed the longer we logged the readings. While the overall dissonance is the same as a GC, the way the fluctuations work isn't the same at all. Alex pulled up two additional charts. One, the ones you had taken at the camp, and another side by side. These are all readings, and these are the logs from the lab monitoring the GC. They are identical as far as I can tell. Looks like it, but something doesn't feel right about it. Correct, it's because the fluctuations aren't uniform. The graph center displaying several more lines, each with a different color. Each one of the nodes returns its own maze signature, with the main white line representing the strongest maze signature. All living beings have maze, and our strongest maze is our elemental resonance. Right, the basics of elemental control. You have to look at all the GC wavelengths compared to the archives. The frequencies seem to dip sometimes, unlike the GCs. Right, wavelengths fluctuating a lot too. Indeed, the elemental nodes detected unusual dips in resonance while the median frequency somehow maintains stability. What does that mean for the GC? It feels almost asinine to say, but a tree is a living thing. Yeah, generally plants are a living thing, even if this one has crystals growing out of it. One would think it's obvious, but there was one other anomaly I hadn't expected to see. Another one? Does it explain the first one? What your way? It explains it. It has been the final puzzle piece. Closer to the diagrams, he brought up two others. This time a graph were wildly fluctuating smaller graphs in between in a series of values assigned to acronyms you hadn't learned yet. These are readings taken from the nether infected. From your experimentation, eh? They have their own made signatures like any other element and have similar effects to other elements on the body, save for its parasitic nature. And that is the last piece of the puzzle. The reason the guardian crystal has faltered is due to its synthetic nature. Because it's man-made? Yes, the reason that Kody has stood strong is due to it being a living being. Alex brought up the Kody's readings once more, overlaying with the nether graph. The one side was an anatomical biometric. In small amounts, the body can reject nether infection. You'll feel sick for a time, but eventually restore your mage ability naturally. When infected with enough corruption to destabilize your mage is when the nether takes hold, turning your residents against you. However, the GC itself stabilizes the netherite, volume in your body down to safety threshold. So the fluctuations in the elemental resonance was a tree fighting off the nether corruption. The patterns in the elemental resonance are consistent with those of nether corruption and the examination of nether purification we've documented here. Wait, someone tried to poison Akai? The serpent. Yes, whoever poisoned the GC likely attempted to poison Akai as well. And what of that beast? Possibly brought in like the slug and fed off the nether dust and the local wildlife. I can't say for sure, but that's my theory up until now. Though it is because Akai compares itself with the corruption that its field would remain stable, no doubt about it. So the GC was corroded over time like you said before? Yes, from what was reported to the lab through late spring, the GC was weakened due to the corrosive essence of the nether dust. With only a uniform pattern to repel external corruption, it had no way to expose the nether it had collected, leading to reach the destabilization ratio I just mentioned. Then if that's the case, what can we do to restore harmony to the city? The Malamute grew anxious, seeming almost ready to say the answers out of Alex if need be. Well, that's where our potential solution comes in. It's why I wanted to wait until everyone was here to discuss that, especially you, Kody. Me, why would my say matter in this? Because they will need to. Alex. Ugh. Everyone doubled over in pain, leaving you standing alone as the campfire began to crackle violently. Alex, Max, Ray, Kody, what's going on? I don't know. I felt a great disturbance in the forest. Was that a sonic boom? I felt it too. Was it because we messed with the Akai? I don't think so. That didn't feel like it came from the Akai. It felt like it was coming from the city. Everyone, look. He turned to where Kody was pointing. Off the distance, a billow of smoke rose from the city's skyline. The protective barrier of the GC gone, the crystal itself was in steady decline. The crystal. It's falling. Alright team, grab what you need and prepare to head out. But wait, what's going on? What about the camp? There's no time. Grab your sword and head towards the bridge. I can't believe this is happening. I can't either. We need to leave. Post haste. I gather the last of the records we have. You take care of the fire. Right, Dave, you should grab your equipment from your tent. I'm on it. With only a handful of supplies for the camp, you, Max, Alex, and Kody make your way back down the hill to the checkpoint as quick as you can. Your tent's campsite, Alex's equipment, and even a supply cart left behind in the rust. No one said a word, but you could guess that they each had something on their mind. As your concerns turned to Elisa at the base of the crystal. A sinking feeling filled your guts as further destruction echoed across the distance. Breaking free from the tree line, you can see the checkpoint at the foot of the hill. The guards were already scrambling around the perimeter. The vibrant red raised scales standing out as he stands by the carriage. Wait, status. Max barked at the dragon as he vaulted into the driver's seat, taking the reins to the hooves. I briefed the guards by the situation, asked them to clean up our Akai camp and be on the lookout. Were they aware of the explosion? Yep, hard to miss it. They've asked us to head down to the guild for further instructions. One of the guards passed close enough to the carriage to be singled out. You there, what's happened to the comms? We have no idea, sir. The communication grid all went silent when we realized the Guardian Crystal was failing. Damn it all. Everyone, get in. You tried to make your way over to Max, only for him to gesture towards the carriage. We can't risk any of you falling off. Get inside. I'll give it everything we got. This isn't a dream, is it, Dave? This is actually happening. He reached out to the bear, 1 foot onto the step, ushering him in. Don't worry, Kody. It won't be like last time. As soon as the door was secured, you heard the shriek of the hose as Max whips them into a frenzied gallop. Though the road to the forest was placid, the return trip was stressful. Max's hurried whips and the cold cries mixed with the worried glances of everyone inside the cabin. Despite the relative calm of the countryside zooming by, your head was in turmoil. The carriage jostles and tilts as Max hits every curve sharply or cut straight off the road. Yikes. Max, remember that the hose only work while on the road. Slow down, you'll have us all killed. The Mamu didn't seem to hear, but just chose not to as he maintained the momentum. What was originally a half-day's trek was cut shorter as the hose were pushed to their limit. Even at the speed you were going, it took you at least an hour or two to return to the city. Your heart was pounding in your head the entire time, holding on to Kody as the look of dread dragged their mouths into troubled scowls. When the city finally came into view, you heard a cry from outside, though it zoomed by as quick as the scenery. Max! Sir Maxwell, halt! For the order of the guild master, Alaric. In spite of their cries, Max did not stop the carriage to secure box, now a potential death trap careening into the city. The armored guard moved into position, flanking the carriage as he followed your advance. We arrived at the eastern gate. We were greeted with the city in disarray. Signs of vandalism and destruction visibly evident on the buildings around the entrance. On the straightway path, you can see Richmond Park in the distance. Max made a sharp turn down the street as he spotted purple blurs speeding past a few blocks further down. No. It's like they said, the outskirts is already overrun. This is really happening. Unbelievable. Rest in peace in my city. Yeah, I hear you, Max. You should report back to the father at the guild. Probably not the best idea to engage right now. Damn it, Lady Elisa. Turning the carriage back onto the back roads, your group made haste back to the guild. Along the way, you listen to the murmurs of the others as the streets lined up with broken glass, stone, and wood. Whatever passed by here did so without regard for what was here. The outskirts were not their target. As soon as the carriage rolled into the guild, the scale of the damage over the course of hours lay bare before you. Max hopped off the driver's seat, opened the door for you before dashing into the crowd. Before you clamber out, following as best you can, behind Max, navigating through the cluttered field, where tents, tables, tarps, blankets scattered all about. Field infirmaries tending to the wounded. The medics appear to be civilians, judging by the clothes they wore. Everyone else was either adults tending to crying children or just milling about, looking for things to do. Some were even crying for children they could not find. The rest were crowded around the entrance of the guild where Master Alaric stood upon a platform so his voice could project outward. People, please. We're doing what we can to reunite you with your loved ones and evacuate you to safety. Do not leave the perimeter of the guild until the next caravan is ready. Master Alaric, Maxwell, I've only just sent you for your team. We departed from the Akai as soon as we heard the explosion, sir. So the Golden Crystal's fall was heard that far. Well, the Akai, do you manage to get results? We have, Master Alaric. I brought all the data required to repair the GC. Well done, lad, but I'm afraid it has come to naught. What do you mean? The saboteur has attacked us from within. The laboratory has been ransacked and set ablaze. The towers are under fire? So that's why the guards can't communicate with the guild. Indeed, we could not communicate to outposts to warn you, nor contact our field agents in this vital moment. What are we to do? To lab my inventions? I apologize for having to ask this of you, but I require you all to help in the evacuation efforts. Maxwell Silverbane, is that your command, sir? Maxwell, head out into the city and help with the evacuation efforts. Any injured or trapped, make sure they come here safely. We'll turn to them. Yes, sir. Alexander. Yes, sir. I understand this might already be your intent, but you are to head down to the labs in Salva and salvage whatever weapons and technology you may require once we evacuate it. Should crystal codes fall, the Akai may well be the last bastion of this entire continent we can seek refuge at. Even so, we cannot give up our resistance here. Yes, Uncle. And Kody. With the high influx of refugees, we need you to help keep them fed. Yes, an army marches on its stomach. Well said. With that, you need to hurry. Your remaining assistant is struggling in there on his own. Remaining? One of them gone missing? I believe so. Your tavern reported one personnel missing in action earlier. Early this morning. Do you know who it was? That I'm afraid we do not know. Our scouts still haven't spotted him in their reconnaissance. We cannot spare more manpower to investigate missing persons. I understand. I'll head to the kitchen to help with provisions, good men. Well, would they go at a time like this? I just hope he's okay. Indeed. And wait, one moment. Where's Raymond? From the rabbi at the front desk, Caroline pressed against the wall, heading into the honeysuckle. It was wall to wall for mercenaries. The first time you'd seen this many people crowded inside a building was for a concert near the campus. So many people. Though unlike the concert, most people here weren't doing so voluntarily. There was a sticking feeling in your chest as you were quickly reminded of what was going on out there. There doesn't appear to be a way into the tavern from here. Let's go through the back door to the kitchen. Right, behind you. You left through the front entrance, heading toward the back, staying close to hedges encircling the building. I hope Ashford's holding up well on his own. I'm sure he can manage. But you think Tensai was the one who left? It's likely he's only being employed recently. Where could he be running off to? Perhaps he had family in town. He missed someone he knew coming with him. Just want to find out who actually stayed behind. Right. The small talk kept both of you calm as you slowly make your way through. The rear of the buildings seemed quieter in comparison. Fewer townspeople and more mercenaries stationed around the perimeter to keep it safe. Judging for the purple piles burning just out of sight from the townsfolk, there's been no shortage of work coming their way. You weren't paying attention as you crashed into the bear, who was staring intensely at the wide-open back door. He looked on as his expression turned grim, already knowing what he was thinking about the state of his kitchen. It didn't come much as a surprise as he charged urgently inside. You followed shortly behind. The moment you set foot inside, the first thing hitting you was the heavy heat that hangs in the air, along with the errant scent of stew wafting from further within. The second thing that hit you was the clamoring din from all the pots, pans, plates, and cutlery shuffled around a cramped space. People dashing back and forth between stove tops, counters, and workstations, many of them hastily and messily preparing as many servings as possible. Amidst it all, you spotted the German Shepherd diligently giving out directions to the groups coming in and out of the kitchen. Please take this outside. We'll have another pot ready soon. And make sure to bring the pot back as soon as it's empty. You can count on itself. How the dish is going. We're nearly done with this batch. This pot's ready. Where do we put it? Place it over on the front counter until we clear out more space. To inside. Master Kody, blessed be my lady. Your return could not have been more opportune. Kody surveyed the kitchen in both astonishment and anguish, seeing his kitchen overrun with civilians handling his workspace so roughly. I must apologize, sir, with all the commotion and Master Alec's orders. You can say the pretense Tensai. I understand the severity of the situation. What's going on? Where's Ass? Yes, well, when we finish the last of breakfast to us, as for headed out to the market district for missing ingredients. Not long after, we felt the tremor of the guarded crystals descent, followed by reports of the barrier's disappearance and the subsequent invasion. Why do you remain here when the invasion happened? Flee immense. Why did you remain here when the invasion happened? Flee immense and chaos I cannot assess is less than ideal. Safety or numbers, Sir Dave. So Ashford hasn't returned since. Yes, I'm afraid so, Kody. I had reported his absence to the front desk, but once the refugees arrived, I assumed his name was buried under the piling reports. I see. And these people? Kody tilted his head in the direction of the bustling kitchen. One of the volunteers caught Cody's gaze, stopping to chime in for himself. Saw your friend. He was struggling to man the kitchen. Our food carts were destroyed in the assault, so figured the next best thing was to help out here. From behind Kody, the face of a red squirrel peeked out to speak up in a shaky voice. You recognized him as one of the regulars who sat in the dark corner of the tavern. We offered to help too. The housewives and I wanted to make ourselves useful handling the prep work. So everyone is helping with cooking. Not everyone. A burly ox passed through to set the empty soup pot for the others to wash. The ones of us that can't cook can get these pots around like nobody's business. He said, attempting to flex subtly as he lifted a full pot back out into the dining hall. The tavern had kept us fed for cheap for years, so it only made sense that we lent Sir Kody a helping hand in times like this. Yes, as you can see, they can speak for themselves. They offer their assistance to you. In times of crisis, one cannot simply turn down so much needed support. Kody glanced around the kitchen once more, aside from those that addressed him. Everyone else continued as they were before you came in. Hey Tensai, this pot's boiling over. What should I do? The bear quickly snapped their attention, went over to the civilian with the overflowing pot. I'll take it from here, thank you. But if I could ask you all to clear out, it's easier for me to work with a few cooks in the kitchen as possible. Right, sorry. The goat swag away, and the cooking pot making their way towards the exit before Kody called for them to stop. Hey, where are you going? You don't need to leave. We've still got plenty of roles to fill around here. Tend to the other pots. Yes, sir. The goat trotted away, looking for anything that needed doing in the meantime as Kody tended to the pot, stealing in a bottle from the top itself. Alright, let's get back to work. We got the biggest rush in our lives. Tensai, man the prep stations and ingredients. Use anything that's closest to inspiration first. The fresher stuff will last longer. The fresher stuff will last longer in case we need to evacuate. So I'll keep accounts of everything used if you can, but don't lose time keeping track of everything. Kody paused to consider his next words carefully. Use specific ingredients sparingly. Common ingredients are fair game. Anything that's not in a red box or crate goes. Got it. Tensai. How many are in the kitchen? 20 volunteers total, Kody. Experience? A few of them are from other establishments. The others are home cooks. Good enough, that should cut back on the work. Make sure they remain out of the way so I can manage the burners with the other cooks. What should I do, Kody? Direct the other volunteers about food distribution. Make sure everyone is served at least a plate. Will it be alright here by yourself? Kody gave you a reassuring smile, patting your head with his elbow. I do my best working in the kitchen, and I'm in good company. I can count on you, can I? Of course, you can count on me. Alright, everyone serving meals, come with me. You announce as the familiar faces of the regulars turn to you, recognizing your role as staff. Anybody unfamiliar, follow their cue, turning to you for directions. With the volunteers until you brought out pots and serving dishes of the meals that were prepared as you arrived. Coming out first was a simple vegetable stew with just enough meat to give it flavor and body, served in the kitchen signature dishes. On the side was a large bowl of assorted wild salad, haphazardly chopped and tossed before passed around in smaller portions with slices of stale bread to be softened in the stew. Everything definitely looked like a disaster scenario as the food was filling but bland, though most were grateful to have anything to settle their stomachs after the tumultuous morning they've had. Is this the most you can muster? Is this supposed to be an upscale restaurant? What is this jumbled mess of a meal? Sorry, ma'am, but this is the relief food that we can offer right now. You can't seriously be expecting a Michelin star meal at a time like this, surely. Michelin, what? Look, I just want food that's more suitable for mine. Knock it off, lady. We're just giving this food away. If you can't appreciate it, then move along for someone who will. The Hyena woman turned obsequious at the reminder, sheepishly taking her meal and moving on for the next person in line. The repetitive work got to you as you didn't realize the pot was empty until the ladle hit the bottom. With the help of the horse, you poured out the last of the soup into another bowl, only to be replaced with another while. He took the pot back into the kitchen. He switched to the serving pot they brought out a little earlier, filled with an oatmeal gruel with fruits and nuts floating in the watery mass. The only scent you could really get off it as you scooped a portion for the awaiting refuse was cinnamon, a lot of it. They were obviously disappointed they didn't get any soup, but still they graciously repaid your gesture with a grateful nod, taking their plate to eat on the floor, now that all the tables had been filled. Tensai, how's Kody doing? No need to worry, Dave. Master Kody is doing well, and the better for it. Everyone seems much more comfortable listening to his orders than they were in my command. I guess everyone knows Kody more. No offense, Tensai. None taken. How are you holding up? I'm doing as well as I can. What's wrong? This is really happening, isn't it? This is war. We should be thankful it's been as specific as it has. The wars where we come from wouldn't have been nearly this safe. Yeah, since I loaded the last of the dishes, wiping any leftover crumbs and spills into the dish cart. Even if it seems like very little, we're still doing our part. Hang in there, hero. The German Shepherd patted your shoulder roughly before making his way back to the kitchen just as someone else brought our first cart of dishes for the refugees to take. It gave you some solace to hear that from your coworker as you dipped into the first pot brought to you, though something about it felt different this time around. The pot had a bright orange hue, a strong aromatic scent of fish and tomato wafting from it. Still in the pot with a ladle, you collected chunks of soft fish into the bowl along with the squash and carrots softened from the stewing. At the same time, one of the volunteers by your side was handing out what looks like a freshly baked loaf. Needless to say, the refugees' eyes and those behind them grew wider seeing the hearty dish. A few grew rowdy all of a sudden as some volunteers had to keep them in check while you passed around the new food. It didn't stop there, as the quality of dishes somehow got better and better. Braised boards, buffet, casseroles, lasagnas, creamy pastas, truly a stark contrast as it had gone from a dreary survival scenario to a veritable feast. With a change in menu also came a change in demeanor as the desperate clamoring turned into an excited, if at times confused buffet. Is this really a good idea for an emergency situation like this? I asked Kody the same thing, just told me he had everything under control. The ox sweated, placing another serving dish of food for you to serve, this one just as delectable as the rest. By the way, you think you could set aside a plate for me? What? Can you really take a break at a time like this? You heard another pot set onto the bar, right next to the dish the ox had just brought out. We got two more coming in. That bear can really whip up a storm. The horse cackled, taking a seat beside you as yet another two serving dishes were put out. All right, that should be about it. Thank you for all your hard work. Please dig in. Thank you for the meal. The volunteers grabbed the plates and cutlery beside you before helping themselves. You too, Dave. It's time for you to take a break. But I got you covered, man. Take a load off. The feline stepped in front of you, directing the crowd toward themselves as they pick up the rest of the queue. Turning back to the bar, you found an empty wedge of counter space, fatigue washing over your entire body the moment you laid your head down. There's still so many people waiting to be fed. You muffled a groan of exhaustion against the wooden bar top. He laughed, though you could tell from the gentle wheeze in his breath that he was just as tired as you, if not more. The clink of a plate wagging your ear, you lifted your head to see the modest plate he served you himself. I guess we're no less refugees than the rest of us. I guess we're no less refugees than the rest in all this, huh? You brought the plate closer to you. It wasn't a full serving, but it would suffice to curb your hunger. Taking the first bites, your mouth was filled with a rich flavor that made the exhaustion melt away, just like the tenderness of the meat. This is really good. I think I might cry. So this is the flavor of a master. He's been holding out on us He's been holding out on us this whole time. The German Shepherd teased you with her nose and then winked. Yes, he really was. You thought back to the other dishes he used to make for your breakfast and lunch. Those had already tasted fantastic, but the richness of these dishes was something else. Savoring their next bites, your thoughts wandered to the faded memories of those rare meals back at the orphanage, something the caretaker would surprise all of you on holidays or if no Elisa's or Kody's cooking. It was all he could muster back then. You're grateful for all he's done. Back then, you all shared a birthday, and now you knew when exactly you were born, the caretaker would make a feast for everyone that day. It never seemed strange to you as a kid, but when you grew up and attended college here in Carl, would still remember to celebrate on your seventh birthday. Something that would otherwise be tragic turned into a mere light-hearted and comforting occasion. While a mass invasion of the city could be seen as a momentous event, it was exactly what you prefer to call special. But maybe, just maybe, thanks to Kody, everyone could think fondly on this moment, even if the day itself would be considered a tragedy. Something on your mind, Dave. I guess so. Quite a lot to think about, really. I see. So Kody's cooking also makes people deep in thoughts. That man's sewer is full of surprises, is that right? That's not what I mean. Well, if I didn't keep these secrets up my sleeve, it wouldn't be much of a special talent, would it? When they caught you both off guard as the canine tensed up, holding the plate close to his chest as if the bear were threatening to take it back from him. That's cool. When you take your break too. Yes, I've done most of the heavy work that needed doing. The remaining cooks and volunteers can watch over them until they're ready to serve. Why don't you join us then? It's just about to take a break as well. And well, there's only so much I can do all at once. Since I cleared a spot for the bear at the bar swiftly while he served his own plate of food. But he was mindful of how much he took looking over the dining hall. I've never had to make this much food for so many people before. Not even during the festival? Not even then. I still had the other food carts to share the customers with. He followed his gaze to see every table and booth filled with refugees along with several volunteers running the floor. It almost feels like a bustling diner you visited on one of your road trips with Carl, except without the tacky decor. Normally I'd be excited to have the customers come to my restaurant, but it would have been better under normal circumstances. Yes, everyone's only here because everyone else got flushed out of their homes and businesses. Buddy looks down with guilt and saying it's all over his face. The bear stopped eating for a moment and stared at his focusing food on his plate. Did I do too much? Huh? What do you mean? David should have stuck with 10 times making a simpler meal. I treated this like eating other food, like eating other flood of customers, and I didn't want to serve them just anything. I don't think anyone could fault you for that. You just did what came naturally to you. Cody could only muster a weak smile for your consolation until the kennel spoke up. I'd say you've done pretty great, boss. Everyone seems really pleased with the food and the amount of it too. And the quality of it almost makes me forget that we're on a season. What? How could they just forget that? As you said, it feels like any other day. Some of them. See, since I got it, both of your eyes to the things you hadn't noticed while helping for the stuff. People were resting in the darker corners of the tavern, seemingly sleeping or seeking refuge from the outside. It wasn't too dissimilar to what you'd seen at the coffee shop on campus, students hiding away from their social life or assignments, looking for looking for respite for whatever was outside, even if it wasn't nearly as life-threatening as it was here. Everyone still seemed shaken, but not afraid. A brief moment of peace where they all could gather their thoughts. With those who seemed more put together than the rest were consoling and encouraging one another based on their expressions from afar. It really does, doesn't it? Cody's posture straightened up, his expression still pained, but already much brighter. It's a comforting getaway from the outside. I'm sure the food was but a small comfort. I say that it was more than a little, sir. While attending to the dishes, it seemed many were quite pleased with the meal served. I'd hazard to say it provided them considerable solace at a time like this. Cody remained silent, looking to you for your opinion. I think he's right. It helps not having to eat survival food in a survival situation. helps bring back some amount of normalcy, or a reminder of what's at stake, or a reminder of what's at stake. The three of you fell silent at that last thought, continuing to eat in silence, though you could tell from Tensai Koda's expression that it wasn't one in tranquil resignation. Tensai, how are we doing on supplies? Uh, oh, we're more than halfway through our supplies. The pantry has the most stock, refrigeration is about half, and the ice chamber is nearly empty. That's a lot of expenses for no income. Do you think you'll financially cover? Do you think you'll financially recover from this? I don't think that'll be an issue. The bear gave a hopeful, terse smile as he looked back into the kitchen to see the volunteers move about. Perhaps I can ask for their help when the time comes. I'm not too worried. You think so? Yes, even if the honeysuckle were to go out of business, I have no regrets for what we've done here for everyone. I'm proud of you, Kody. Yeah, be proud of what you've accomplished, boss. Yes. Thank you both. Thank you, both of you. I think it's about time we get ready to head back and meet up with the others. You sure you want to head back, Kody? Or not? But I can't hide. I can't just hide in here from the danger anymore. I want to go out and help my team again. You certainly exude a different aura than you once did, Kody. I don't know. I'm just. Oh, is that Finn? Kody stood from his seat, waving over the Sark that seemed to be looking in from the bar. He seemed to notice the movement out of the corner of his eye as he approached you, all with a pleasant smile. Ah, Kody, just the bear I was looking for. He grabbed the last chair at the table, spinning it around to sit on it backwards, resting his head on the chair's back. Good to see you. What's the news from the front? Things are somewhat at a standstill right now. Alaric still hasn't mobilized any evacuation convoys yet. At this rate, we'll be needing more hearses and carriages sooner than later. Your senior co-workers grimace at the news. Is right here with you, Kody? No, we lost sight of him after the time we got here. We don't know where he ran off to. I see. I might be able to shed some light on that. Tristan just arrived with some other refugees. Tristan, is he well? Ha! More than that. He was the one that escorted the townsfolk to the guild. He and Ray are suddenly cut from the same cloth. But to go on a rescue at a time like this on his own? Yeah, I know what you mean. That's why Kody's probably out there looking for him. And now Ray's missing. I'm sure that firebrand can handle himself. He always has before. But if you see him, tell him that his brother is always safe. And that he's not being allowed to risk his life again. Alright, we will. We were just about to leave ourselves. We'll tell Ray if he's back. Thanks. I think I'll help myself to some of this grub while I'm here. Been smelling it from the main hall and been craving some of your Tron casserole. Well, hopefully there's still enough for you to get some. Yeah, even if I don't, looks like you're well stocked for it. Thanks for your hard work, Kody. Don't forget the volunteers. Them too. You too, Tensai. Now go knock them dead. The Sark stood up, putting his chair back in its place before heading back to the bar to receive his ration of food from the other volunteers. You and Kody moved to do the same as Tensai got your attention. Oh, before you go, you two. Is there anything you'd like to have for dinner? Huh? Dinner? You don't know how long the season's going to last. I'd like to make you something on your orders when dinner time arrives. With everything going on, I'm sure you could use the comfort food as well. That's awfully thoughtful of you, Tensai. It's a simple poutine for me. A little heavy on the cheese if any is left. Can do. And you, Dave. Let's see. always happen. Make it a double portion poutine. Hmm. You'll be having the same thing. Yeah, Kody and I could seal it. Ah, yeah, that would be nice. Alright, that's two bombardier potatoes for the two lovebirds. What? That's not at all. That's not at all. Sorry, boss. I can't help but mess with you. Well, that's that. I'll say outside the ingredients necessary for it. Just make sure you come. Just make sure you come back safely for it. All right? We will. You can count on it. Hold down the fort until we get back. Will do, sir. Take care. With that, the German Shepherd bowed respectfully to you, eats before reporting to rejoin the volunteers in the kitchen. Well, ready to leave soon? Yeah. But let's go wash up in my room before we head out. I'm starting to feel the sweat and spills sticking to my fur. Do we have time for that? We should if we make it back. We should make it quick. Alright, I think I could use a little cleaning too. A full stomach and a quick wash. We'll be in peak conditions. Let's go. You turn to see Alex walking out from the main hall, a few gadgets in hand. Kody insisted on you taking your shower first, offering to get your clothes from your dorm room for you. It was hard to tell him no, more out of exhaustion than politeness. You're still under the warm shower, getting the sticky, grimy feeling out of your fur from the day's work. It would have been rather uncomfortable to go out on the battlefield like this. Kody was right. You needed to be at tip-top condition. You weren't sure how long you stood there when Kody knocked on the door to hand you your clothes. It was even more of a blur as you waited on his bed for his shower. There was a dread in the pit of your stomach, like every doctor's visit you had before you were 12, and every one after you turned 18. And just like those visits, the waits were just as long. That was just what I needed, and just as short as those times. Ready to head out, Dave? Yeah, let's go. Walking back around the front of the guild, you spotted those three familiar figures standing in the Save Alaric's platform. Hey, we're back. Oh, you're finally here. I was just giving Max away the update on the lab situation. What happened to the lab? According to Cell, one of the researchers had changed detonation took place at the upper level generator cluster, triggering the extinguisher system. But due to sabotage, the sprinklers never stopped watering, and the drainage system failed entirely. So the whole underground area is flooded? Correct, but it's worse than that. The defenses attempt to save the remaining test subjects in the suspension pods. All the solution fluids have been unleashed into the floor, on top of the flooding waters from the extinguisher system. This means the entirety of the 25th floor has been inundated. Damn. Is Fitz alright? He is. Sal was also the one that tagged along for the salvaging effort. He indicated to a small plastic case beside him, with a few gadgets resting atop. Without her help, I wouldn't have been able to rescue faster in time. Thank goodness you didn't go alone. Hey, I'm anal, not foolhardy. Whoa, didn't know you were into that, Al. Shut up. The lynx beat upon Ray's chest with the dragon simply cackling in delight. Well, what about you, Max or why? Any news from the city? Nothing positive, I'm afraid. Yeah, the entirety of the market and residential districts have been ransacked. Just like that time. It seems they are hoarding materials to take back with them. All the back roads and narrow passages are too risky to traverse without one of those beasts ambushing you. So only the main roads are being maintained by our combat units. Where did you find Ray? I didn't. He was already here when I got back. Right, that reminds me. Where in the blue blazes were you, right? The dragon's smile faltered, looking away, seemingly same face to admit his motivation. I couldn't sit around. I couldn't. I couldn't still sit another second when Alaric was giving us our orders. All I could think of was looking for Tristan. Tristan, my brother. Oh, is he younger than you? Not that much younger, old enough to join the Gallanteers. You wanted to ask Ray why he didn't seem enthused by it, but you decided against it. Friend actually came to find us. Tristan arrived here while you were out on your own. I know, I ran into him after bringing back my own group of refugees. He gathered a small group of our neighbors when our homes were attacked. He let out a quivering sigh, trying to hold back tears. I didn't know he had it in him. Well, now that you're both safe, it's one less fear off your shoulders. For the better, we need the whole team present. What about you, Kody? How's the food situation? With the help of the volunteers Tensai brought on board, we were able to keep up with the demands. That said, the pantry could only hold for so long, hopefully just long enough to outlast the siege. Right, you said Tensai, right? That new assistant you got was Ashford. We don't know. We were actually hoping to ask you that. When we arrived, only Tensai was tending to the kitchen. He said that Ash has been missing since the Golden Crystal's fall this morning. Max and Ray exchanged glances, seemingly thinking of the same thing. I didn't see him anymore. I didn't see him anywhere. Couldn't he be here already? I would hope he'd have reported back to the honeysuckle if that were the case, to at least ease our fears. We didn't find him, sadly, not even at Asia's Manor, where some have taken up refuge. Wait, they taken refuge at my home? Yes, due to Felix's manning of your home's defense systems, it seemed ideal for those who did not make it to the guild's grounds in time. Also, Felix is safe. I had nearly forgotten him in all this. And EY? Way shook his head, nodding towards the crowd around you. I had my own things in mind. The only person I was looking for at the time was Tristan, my brother. But I'm pretty sure I didn't see any snow leopards anywhere. I see. So that's where we stand now. What's our next move then? We received instructions from Master Alaric to mobilize a counter-offensive. We ran into a few of the strike towns taking point, but we must act now in order to strike them down. Where is our end point? It's in office, Vism Park. We must advance and rescue Lady Spring. We're to strike either the east or west entrances. Those are the ones they've made progress clearing along the main roads. Is everyone ready? Ready. Let's go. Move out. 51 here. Elisa, everyone's safe. We need to get out of here. You hollered as loud as your burning lungs allowed, hoping to get the rapid saves to come out sooner. Elisa, we need to get out of here. Kody and the others will cover our escape. Still no response, not from Elisa, not from any guards, only the violent and angry shriek of the guardian crystal. Elisa, a series of sharp jabs ran up your legs, pinning your muscles in place like a mannequin. Your momentum threw you into a forward roll, hitting the ground hard enough to lose the grip on your sword. Fuck. What the hell? My legs. Reaching down for your legs, your hands instantly recoil at the sharp jagged spikes protruding from your knees and calves. A brief glance told you they were clouded swords of opaque purple, reminiscent of obsidian, deliberately thrust through your legs. Elisa! You cried out, now kicking yourself for needing to be saved by the one you came to save yourself, though you did hear the voice of someone familiar coming towards you from the sanctum. Dave, is that you? Oh, you're white? Who's there? Over here, Sir Dave. Good heavens, what happened here? What did they do to you? Ashford, what are you doing here? It's not safe. Yes, I'm aware. I too was caught in this sudden strife. I had managed to find sanctuary within the sanctum along with the guards and Lady Spring herself. You managed to get here when the invasion happened? How is Lady Spring? Is she safe? I should say so. She has managed to fend off those beasts while maintaining the crystal afloat. I dare say I won't be forgetting what she's capable of. But enough about that, Dave. We must get you inside before those creatures find us out in the open. The snow leopard leaned down, extending his hand out for you to take. Where are the guards, Ashford? It would be easier if they were here to help us. They are still recovering from their initial assault, Dave. Let us not raise any undue harm. Surely we could escort ourselves to safety, yes? Or do you not believe me capable of carrying you myself? He chuckled mirthfully as he once again proffers his hand to you. Pressing back on your elbows, you decide to draw away from the snow leopard. Hold up. Ellery told us that Elisa sent the guards away to get the townspeople to safety. Why didn't you go with them? I insisted on staying here to assist Lady Spring with defending the inner sanctum. I assure you, I understand my concerns for her ladyship. She is the final beacon of hope for her people. Your fear for her well-being must be clouding your judgment. Please allow me to escort you to her. Ashford took 2 steps closer to you, once again thrusting his hands towards you just a lot more forcefully this time around. You continued scooting back from Ashford bit by bit as he continued to follow you step by step. Nobody knew where you were, Ash. You were MIA as far as anyone could tell. I suppose the guard simply omitted mentioning my staying here. I am an unremarkable individual, after all, merely a background character in your story. You finally reached what you had been itching for. The hilt of your sword clattered as your fingers butted to it. Grasping it firmly, you brought it forward, holding it towards Ashford's chest to keep him at arm's length. You're the spy, aren't you, ass? Did you come to that conclusion all by yourself, hero? Or perchance did those friends of yours tell you that? His tone grew both cynical and ecstatic as he leaned down to meet you at eye level. I was so looking forward to doing away with you and your pathetic causer. Especially that Ophis bear, the things I had to put up with under his supervision. Ugh, why wasting my talents? As for Clancy's fist, you could hear him grit his teeth with a painful force of smile. But this would do nicely. Saves me the time of picking your friends off one by one. You've even done me the favor of stumbling into my netherite traps. You, Ashford held a hand to his head, shaking it with a derisive smile upon his face. You are far too kind, hero. Though I must say, you left me rather disappointed. His Majesty had great and many expectations of you, and yet you are nothing more than another tribute. A dying breed, heroes. What a pity. He looked you up and down, eyes lingering upon the sword in your hand. With that said, I must admit I am intrigued. When you crossed that threshold into that establishment, I had not expected you to be the hero of prophecy. Imagine my surprise to learn His Majesty had lost sleep over something so pitiful as you. Still, I did not expect you to survive this long, let alone be a thorn in my side, as much as you have been. All the more reason I'll have to stop you here, I'm afraid. You held your sword closely, drawing from your borrowed powers in your offhand. Who exactly are you, really? Since you asked so politely. Before your eyes, Alfred's appearance shifted, his uniform melting away into an officer's regalia. I am General Ashford Del Garden, Galantine by birthright, and King Leonhard's most trusted advisor. I didn't need to know that much. Well, you did ask. His demeanor softened into an amicable smile once more. Why are you even doing this? Can't you see all the harm you've done? Can't you see all the harm you've been causing? What you call harm is nothing more than a necessity, dear Dave. We do this for the well-being of Galant, the well-being of all of Arborea. Yeah, right. That's the biggest lie of the century right there. Is that so? You don't believe yourself to be the only one on the side of righteousness, do you? How self-serving to think that yours is the only correct way of living. Isn't the pot calling the kettle black? Do not mistake me for yourself, hero. You exist only to uphold the current standard. I am a revolutionary who has challenged this farce of an existence, and the results speak for themselves. Your pathetic empire has crumbled under the king's reach. His Majesty's superior rule is what will sustain the future of this land. Your Majesty's rule has led to nothing but deaths and losses among the people. Look at all the amount of agony and despair you've sown throughout the country. And is that not their deserved punishment? What? You think they deserve this? These Palarian parasites are what causes uprising. They have only themselves to blame. For nearly a century, we endured ridicule and strife. In their eyes, Galant was but a land of slaves and tools to be taken advantage of. His Majesty's rise to power changed that. His upheaval of the Baumgarten House saved us from the brink of extinction and gave us a chance to live again. For that feat alone, he is a true hero of Arborea. Do you get it now, hero? That is why this war is a necessity, to save our future generations from falling back into decay and decadence, to put an end to an era of shackles and break the cycle of segregation. Do you think you can accomplish this by razing every city you come across to the ground? You have ruined so many lives for the sake of your own entitlement. You have taken more than you were owed, and still think yourselves the victims. Do not lecture me on matters of morality, boy. You have not endured true hardship and famine for the better half of your life. What good is morality for craven crystal sucklers who think themselves better than the weak? We at last stand on equal footing, and yet you dare call us corrupt? Who wouldn't? Do you even hear yourself talk? You sound like a crazy politician. All these lies and half-truths about how rough you've had it. Do you think these people were living in their lap of luxury for the past 20 years? What do you know about these disgraceful traitors? You've barely been here for a month. Maybe I don't. But I have seen and heard stories about the misery these people have to endure. You, your king, destroyed their homes, forcing them to migrate here. And even with the Guardian Crystal, their livelihoods are still at stake. These people just want to live peacefully. You still see them as a threat? What's wrong with you? Your misplaced sympathy is simply baffling. Their misery was of their own making. How ignorant of you to assume we've never offered them a helping hand. We're more than willing to look past their transgressions and start things anew. They need only submit to His Majesty's rightful rule. And then would they have known utopia, but alas, they never yielded. Pray tell them, how are we to blame when they have forsook that choice? Yet, a choice that you and your bloodthirsty marauders force upon innocent folks, huh? Your king, enough! The snow leopard fainted you with a kick which you very narrowly deflected. I have entertained your inward bleeding for far too long, sheep. Whatever leniency I have offered you has been in error. You will submit to His Majesty's will. Not the kind of diplomacy I prefer, but it seems like that's the only persuasion you'll listen to. I won't let you get away for the crimes you committed here today, Asford. Or didn't Prosperita? You brandished your sword again, pointing the blade towards the snow leopard, who seemed indignant as ever. If you plan to protect this dying city to your last breath, so be it. In Inverwick, Quicksman, nimmer than Durferslin. He draws forth 5 ice daggers between his fingers as a delighted smile spreads over his face. Immer Straffen für Segen, egal den Preis. Your injuries were 2 months for you to bear as you were brought to your knees. Asphet wasted no time pinning you down with his daggers of ice, leaving you prone and defenseless. Pity appears that, in the end, you will come to serve the purpose you were always destined to. Asphet effortlessly took the sword from your sword hands. My, what a true masterpiece of crystal manufacturing, a fragment of the maker's pearl, and now is in my possession. Asphet placed the blade in his Asphet placed the blade to his body, quivering and elation like a child that had found his presents early. Drawing from his pocket, he produced a pocket watch, the one he had always seen dangling from his chest. Bringing it towards the crest where the sword's horsey gem was inlaid, you began to feel a hellish squeezing in your ears. Do not fear, my little vessel. You shall find that the influences of nether are far more pleasing once you detach yourself from this foolish notion of harmonies. The more Asphet held the watch to the sword, the more your mind screamed in protest. You watched the world as you knew it gradually vanishes from your mind. The guardian crystal Akai, crystal codes to gild Elisa called the human world a boyer. All of it were placed with thoughts that were not your own. The cognitive dissonance drove you mad as you cannot reconcile the images forced into your mind. The atrocities committed by the nether beast, by Asphet, by the king. All acts of violence and righteous cleansing, all of it viscerally amazing. You find yourself feeling all is right with the world, no longer feeling ambitions of lofty heroics or bearing ill will towards Gila. Asphet hands you your sword back as you apologize to him, offering your eternal servitude to the future emperor of Aboria. You choose to prove your fealty by executing the remaining obstacle that stood between him and ascension. Welcome home, hero. And now to finish what we started. Well, that was a worse ending there. Well, basically the sea is destroyed. So Ugh, how can you be this strong already? This was not how this was supposed to happen. Give up, ass. The others will be here any minute. Fool, I will not be caught like some common rodent. No, I will do what I have set out to do. Hey, get back here. I'm not done with you. Ah. He stays behind him through the fog as it begins to clear. His focus disrupted. His figure was barely visible, even in the all-black attire. The thickness of the fog managed to obscure his outline. Once to your fear, he disappeared for a moment before you managed to catch sight of him again. Your footsteps echo throughout the sanctum as the fog clears enough for you to see the ceiling. Somewhere within the fog, you could hear Lisa's voice humming in the same tune as the guardian crystal did before. You put it out of mind as you return your focus to catch up with Asford. At last there he was, cornered with his back to the window, sounding light through the fog. The snow leopard turned around calmly to face you, though he attempted to maintain his composure. His chest was obviously heaving from the pursuit. Stubborn as a boar, aren't you? You heroes never know when to give up. I watch what I'm saying in your position. Turn yourself over to the Volunteers or get cut down where you stand. Ha! You're just bluffing. If you couldn't kill me when you had the chance, I'll seldom believe you'd do it now. You kept your sword poised towards the snow leopard, the narrow room leaving little space to escape without getting stuck in it, and tipped. Riddle me this. What can you accomplish by not killing me now? Fame, glory, accolades? You're more useful to us alive. Well now, look who's stealing my lines. I have an actual use for you. Your lot will not get a single shred of information out of me. I better be off dead. You felt a frigid gust blow by your cheek as a fresh wound was opened by Asford's ice daggers. Fine. Leave me no choice. You broke into a sprint towards Asford, arm held back to slash the traitor across the center of his mass. The snow leopard only braced himself, taunting you with deranged glee. It's the end of the line, Asford. The sword never tasted flesh as you slammed your sword into Asford. Having fainted with a false strike, you dropped your blade to put the full force of your body on him. You trout-brained fool! How can you do this to me? Goodness, Dave. Your bodies made contact as you both fell hard onto the floor. A clattering is heard along with soft flopping onto the concrete. Elisa's voice shook you immediately as you drew yourself off her in embarrassment. Elisa, what are you doing here? That should be my question to you, dear. What in Arboria are you doing in the sanctum? In the city at all, for that matter? None of that matters right now. Are you alright? I didn't hurt you, did I? And answer, did he try to hurt you? Easy there, Dave. It's alright. She sat up, reaching out to pull you into her embrace. At that moment, you heard footsteps running out of the room. I'm fine, Dave. I'm just glad to see you safe. And this Asford, is that the South Kody's assistant? Why would he be here? But wait, you didn't hear everything that's happened just now? I'm afraid not. Keeping the crystal aloft is a taxing ordeal on its own. The crystal, as the rabbit sage gasped, a lost metallic twang rang out above the sanctum as the golden crystal's chaotic vibrations began to go haywire. The ground began to rumble as the crystal approaches the ground, fully unbidden. Dave, stay close. Lisa held you tight to her chest as she vocalized an incantation. You didn't realize to take it in her silvery voice. You didn't get to take it in her silvery voice as chunks of the crystal crashed against the sanctum's roof. You screamed out of instinct as you felt the weight of the world crumbling down on you. Be continued. Okay, so that was day 13 for Kody. So we got to see a lot of dialogue from Kody and Tensai. And they did talk about Ashford not being there and wonder where he was. So about the honeysuckle, I think this whole situation and people being in his restaurant getting food has made Kody feel like he is of value, that he is needed, because he doesn't have a high self-esteem of himself. He feels like he's not all that useful, but the fact is he is. And it's because of him that all those people that came into this restaurant from the events with the monsters, it's because of him that they were able to be fed. So he's helping in people's survival by keeping his restaurant open. Okay, so I think for the next, there's somebody blowing there's somebody out here with a blower, so I'm just gonna go ahead and hurry up. But I think for the next two characters that get their chapter, that get their day 13, I'm not gonna play everything. But I'll certainly play the monster scenes where you got to fight, but as far as stuff like the confrontation with Ashford and all the redundant parts, I think I might just skip those. Let's focus on the dialogue. I mean, you want to see the full chapter 13, you can either watch this or you can watch the one for Alex. Because usually the characters that are first to get a new chapter, I play those in full. And then the other characters that come later for the second chapter, I kind of just focus on them briefly. You know, focus on the dialogue instead of focusing on the entire chapter. So that's probably how we're going to do it with the two remaining characters for day 13. Kind of like how I'll do with Nevin and their characters. Okay, so thank you all very much for watching. Bye.